Hey guys, what is up? Ioki here, bringing you a brand new video, and it's going to be a different video for something that we have never ever done before, but it is something that I am asked almost every single day about on my stream at twitch.tv/Ioki. Link down in the description, by the way. But I get asked all the time, Ioki, what is the best off meta? I'm looking for a new fun off meta. Which ones are actually good? So today we are going to be ranking every single champion in League of Legends on the current patch. In terms of their ability to off meta support. Now, are all of these champions going to be actually good? No, but that's not what we're going to be talking about. And this is not necessarily a video that you want to watch to learn which champions you should play to climb. If you are only interested in climbing, that's probably, go check out my actual champion tier list video on the current patch. That's for the tryhards. That's for the serious guys. But this is a video for people who are legitimately just wanting to have fun and wanting to know how to make these champions work as support. Because I genuinely think one of the best parts about playing the support role is the fact that you can literally slot any champion into it almost and like find a strategy and angle to make it work. So without further ado, we're going to be sorting every champion into either actually good, it can work sometimes, bad, or don't even try it. And then we're going to be putting champions that are not off meta, such as Blitzcrank, into that category there. So up first is Aatrox. I'm going to put Aatrox into bad. He does have quite a few knockups, but he's a top lane bruiser champion that is pretty gold dependent. Other than the fact that he's like relatively tanky-ish, you can sort of frontline, but you don't want to, you're basically just playing a worse version of Aatrox. So other than the fact that it does have like 4 different types of CC, not really good. Ahri, very, very good. I would say that Ahri is one of the better off-meta supports that we're going to be talking about today. Go Glacial, you can go Electrocute if you want. Super, super fun, very nimble champion. And she's one of those champions that just kind of seems to scale super well, even if they only have one item, which is really important in the support role because you basically determine, you basically get way less gold than every other role in the game, obviously. So you should be determining like your builds, assuming that you're only going to get like 2 items. So if you go like Everfrost, Zonius on Ahri support, boom, you are a very, effective assassin. You want to know who's not a very effective assassin if they're underleveled and under gold? Akali. She's going to be our second champion into the bad category. Genuinely just don't do it. The only thing that kind of makes Akali work as a support champion is the fact that she is so overtuned. She is a broken champion. So if you put in like 5 or 6 games, playing Akali in the mid, learning the champions and combos and stuff like that, yeah, you can make her work in the support role just because she's a broken champion, but not really super good. Akshan probably going to be going into the same scenario. He's basically like a worse version of Twitch support where you're going to be stealthing and roaming around the map. And it is fun to like bring back your allies from the dead, get a little bit of extra pocket gold for that. So like that's really the only supporty thing that he has going for him. He has no CC, no decent budget builds, doesn't do super well with lethality, so you can't even like go Umbral. I would stay away from Akshan support. Alistar, absolutely not meta. I don't even know what this thing is. Amumu is he's not off meta. Anivia, once again, going into the I'm going to put Anivia into Kent's work sometimes, actually, because I think she does bring enough utility with her wall and her stun and her zoning abilities. And she does scale fairly well with 1 or 2 items. So I'm gonna put Anivia into can work sometimes. The only bad part about Anivia is that most Anivia mid players go tier start, and obviously as a support player, you have to start a support item. You can't walk into lane with a tier. It's just weird. So it does delay your tier scaling power spike. Annie, at this point, I think Annie is actually off meta, and I'm also going to put her into bad. She is the lowest win rate support in the entire game. And I made a video about that, talking about how she literally has like a 36% win rate. And I've been informed since that video that is a little bit artificially lowered because apparently a lot of like literal NPC programs that are just leveling up accounts to sell them use Annie. So, and they just like literally walk into lane and die over and over again. So her win rate probably is a little bit higher than 36% win rate, but trust me, this champion is just kind of dead in the support role to the point where it's like she used to be a premier support. She used to be like one of the original like greedy supports. Like, the support where they just build full AP and one-shot people, but they have just tuned her so much around the fact that like she needs to be able to one-shot or else she's worthless. And all of her abilities are really short range, and they just feel super bad to play in the bot lane where you walk up and you try to Q someone and you just get gangbanged by 2 people. It's a bad time. Aphelios. Don't even try it, guys. Don't try it. The champion's weird. It's confusing. It's not worth learning if you're going to play him in the support position. Even Aphelios players should not be playing Aphelios support. It's just a really, really weird, awkward time. But that's not to say that all marksmen, all champions that are typically played in the ADC role should not be played in the support role, because coming up, we have a very, very good one, Ashe. This champion has even seen pro play in the support position. Great roaming, great vision control, great utility. She's got built-in slows on her autos, which just make her super useful. She's got a really, really great support build through Imperial Mandate and CDR boots, which just lets her like fire off those ultis across the map on like a 50-second cooldown. Great hard engage, just great everything. Out of the marksman support, I think that the off-meta marksman support, Ashe is always going to be Reign Suprema is probably the best one. Aurelion Sol, it's just weird, man. It's another one that's like fun in concept because, oh, you could press, you can E and fly across the map. That has to be really good for roaming, but they see it coming from a mile away. It's super hard to predict like where people are going to be through your flight path, so you can't even like EW into mid lane. It's just not good. It's one of those things that's more fun as an idea than an actual concept. Azir, I almost want to put Azir and can work sometimes because he does surprisingly have a decent... I'm going to put Azir in can work sometimes because I've played this champion quite a bit and I've hung out with my boy Body enough to know that like this champion can kind of 1v2 a lot of matchups. Like if they have very, very low range bot laners, like they have a melee support or something, you can actually just like poke them out of lane with Azir. Champion does a cracked amount of damage. Bard is absolutely not off meta. Brand, I don't even want to talk about this bozo. Caitlyn, I'm going to put Caitlyn in can work sometimes. Like I said, she's not quite up there with Ashe, but going a full lethality build or even like first strike lethality is really, really fun to do on Caitlyn support. And the best part about playing Caitlyn support is that the enemy team can't play Caitlyn. So you know for a fact you don't have to play against Caitlyn. But yeah, first strike, Duskblade, just rack up free gold from your first strike, just ulting people across the map. It's really fun. And she's a great lane bully. Camille, I don't know if I want to count her as off meta, but I guess we will. This champion used to be absolute up here, like really, really, really good. But over the years, I think she was actually played as support in LCS too. But over the years, they've definitely tuned that down and really relegated her to only being a top laner. I only see a couple of weirdos still playing Camille support. It does have great mobility. The champion can 1v9, so if you do, take someone by surprise, you can snowball. But that kind of applies to every champion. So the actual utility she brings as a support is basically her stun and her ultimate. But if you ulti someone and you're 3 levels down and you can't kill them, you're basically just dooming yourself. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say it can work sometimes, and that's being pretty lenient to it. Cassiopeia, pretty bad. Once again, she has the same problem with Anivia, where she has to have a tier. She has to scale up to her 2-item power spike, scales into Oblivion. So if the game happens to go like past 30 minutes, you're going to be glad that you locked in Cassiopeia. But the actual utility that she brings to the lane, her poke is not super hot. It's awkward because you don't get that tier on your first back, or you don't get your tier until your first back, and then it takes even longer to scale up. It's just kind of bad. She's pretty resource dependent. Cho'Gath, this can work sometimes. You don't want to go a full one-shot build, and you don't want to go a full tank build. So you want to go somewhere in the middle, and you want to abuse Glacial and just fish for those knockups and hit level 6 and flash ulti someone. It's awkward. It's weird. Cho'Gath is a pretty unreliable and outdated character in general, but it can definitely work. Corki, bad. I've played it once like 2 years ago. It's just bad. Don't do it. Darius, this is one of the more popular ones that I get asked about. Like people are like, yo, what do you think about Darius support? Once again, kind of resource dependent. And he's one of those champions that in the top lane, it's a lot easier to rack up those bleed stacks and like take prolonged trades and get value out of that. If you walk up and start trying to auto someone and get those bleed stacks in the bot lane, the difference is that it's a 2-person lane. So you're going to last basically half as long. It's hard. You're basically going to be like a squishy, risky version of Leona. I don't recommend it. Darius is pretty bad. Diana, once again, she's a pretty all-in dependent champion. The only thing that she has going for her is Akali. Just like Akali, she's a pretty overtuned champion. But you're going to be... It's hard to go Conqueror for the same reason that it's hard to play Darius support in the bot lane, because it's hard to get full Conqueror stacks in the bot lane when 2 people are hitting you. There's shorter fights. There's more range-focused fights. It's hard for champions like Diana to exist. Now, you can just like stall the lane out, play safe until level 6, and then go for like a flash ulti, and you'll probably win it. But that's kind of boring to wait until level 6. Draven. Don't even try it. Really, really awkward. He's got a lot of gold value built into him where he needs like kills to get resets, and getting kills on the support, while not inherently terrible, it's not ideal, especially if you have a Draven support. You're not even going to be building up a whole lot of stacks because it'd be really bad for you to just be sitting there constantly hitting minions, lasting minions to get those stacks. Yeah, don't do it. Mundo. I'm going to say it can work sometimes. It's actually pretty fun to do Comet Poke Mundo. It used to be way better before his rework, but you used to do like max percentage health on your Qs and go Comet. So you just chuck a cleaver across the lane. If it hits someone, you get a guaranteed Comet hit. It's not as good as it used to be, but I do think Mundo specifically right now is actually pretty broken. So who knows? Maybe guys, let me know down in the comments if we should try Mundo support out again. Echo, I'm going to say it can work sometimes for the same reason that Diana and Akali can work sometimes. He's a broken champion. He's a Riot August champion. The guy designed some of the most whack, broken ass champions in the entire game. It's unreal how overtuned these champions are, but you've got decent all-in. You can go in, proc your electrocute, and then get out using your passive. It's really hard for them to trade back. Yeah, decent. Elise, I'm going to say this is actually good. Elise support is legitimately slept on. I know of 2 challenger supports on NA that swear by Elise support right now. Super, super good. You basically are walking into lane with 6 different abilities. You've got 2 different executes on your W and your Q, I believe. You've got easy to land CC. You've got great all-in. You can set up tower dives where you tank like 2 or 3 shots and then you repel into the air. If you put some time into Elise, legitimately, she is really, really good as a support, I swear. Evelyn's really bad. Don't even try it. It's not fun. It's not fun because she's such a one-shot dependent champion that it's just bad. Ezreal. I'm going to say Ezreal, almost good, but definitely can work sometimes. Fiddlesticks, is he even off meta considered? If you were going to consider Fiddlesticks to be off meta, he is definitely good. He actually had like a 54% win rate a couple patches back. He received like a minor nerf after that, but still really, really good. He's got great vision control with his ulti, with his passives. He can just put down trinkets. What are they called? Effigies. You can sit in a bush and just jump scare someone at level 6. There's very, very few bot lanes that can actually survive a fully channeled Fiddlesticks ult at level 6. So if worst comes to worst, you can play for level 6. Now, I will say post-rework Fiddlesticks support is a little bit worse than pre-rework Fiddlesticks support. I really, really miss the fact that like you used to be able to just press E and have it bounce between the minions and the champions. I miss that. He definitely doesn't have as good of poke as he used to, but overall he's a better champion than he used to. And that level 6 is still just as deadly. Fiora, don't even try it. Fizz, either bad or we're going to say don't even try it. Galio is not off meta. Gangplank, don't even try it. Garen is probably, we're going to invent a whole tier actually. We're going to invent an entire tier for Garen and one other champion. And this is going to be red. Yeah, Garen is possibly one of the most worthless champions in the entire game to be played in the support position. He has no CC outside of his silence and I think a slow. His execute, you're not going to have enough damage or gold to kill someone with. You literally just sit in the lane watching the game go by. I promise you do not want to play Garen support. We're going to be seeing one other person get put into this tier because I genuinely think that no one should ever even try to. Because the whole point of playing off-meta supports is that you're kind of approaching the game from a new angle, right? There is no angle here. I promise you. Don't do it, guys. Gnar, it's bad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You can go like a fun little Comet build. You can even go AP Gnar if you want to go truly off-meta. It's not the best, but we're going to put it into bad. Gragas, not off meta. Graves, probably into the we're going to put him into bad just because, once again, a very, very overtuned champion. Gwyn, bad. Hecarim, don't even try it. Heimerdinger, as of right now, he's not off meta because he's literally being played in Worlds. but typically Heimerdinger is seen as an off-meta support, so I'm going to put him up in good. I understand he's not actually off-meta right now. I understand everyone and their grandmothers is locking in Heimerdinger support, guys. I get it. Trust me. But outside of like the last 6 months, Heimerdinger has been an off-meta support for sure. Illaoi, I have tried several times to make this champion work. I really would only suggest playing it with a Senna ADC because you can rip souls out and then Senna can shoot those and get souls off of them. It's a fun interaction, but yeah. If you're dead set on playing Illaoi, I would either go Electrocute and go for a full lethality build, or go like a bruisery tanky build and go first strike. Because once again, if you do get that soul pull on someone, you can just hit their clone and that racks up the first strike gold. Kind of a fun interaction, but definitely not good. Aurelia, don't even try it. Ivern might be the actual poster child for off-meta supports. People want this guy to be a support so bad because he's basically the support of the jungle, right? He's got shields, he's got healing, he usually goes like Moonstone or something. He's got, lots and lots of utility. People think that maybe you can lock him in as a support and do like some fun counter jungling. It just doesn't work. You are literally just playing bad Janna when you play this champion. Also, on a side note, Daisy has one of the worst AIs I've ever seen since the PlayStation 1. He's just not fun. He's fun as an idea. He's definitely not fun as a support. Janna is not off meta. Jarvan, my boy. Okay. Jarvan is actually like one of the champions that inspired me to make this video because he is getting slept on as a support. He is the poster child for what off-meta support should actually be. If you go full AP with Ahri, you can play one of the most fun versions of this champion ever, especially because nobody even likes playing Jarvan right now. Junglers hate playing Jarvan. They consider it being put on Jarvan duty. Supports, I swear, guys, if you're watching this video and you've never tried it, go AP Jarvan, go max your E for poke, you put down your E and it procs Ahri. It's decent damage, and then also after it procs Ahri offensively, it'll start procking Ahri defensively because the E is consistently casting it. So you're gonna get off like 4 or 5 Ahri procs every time you press E. It's super, super fun. Go look up one of my APJ4 videos and you will see how much of a blast it is. Jax, don't even try it. Oh. Yeah, the other thing Jax is good at is that like he can, if they have a double marksman bot lane for some reason, you can counter it pretty hard with your counter strike. Jace, I'm gonna say it's bad because you don't really get to utilize the melee portion of his kit. You can just sit back and play like a one-shot, sniper build, and it's kind of fun. But that's not really how Jace is meant to be played. He's meant to be swapping between melee and range and taking advantage of the fact he's like a hybrid between the two. You're really not tanky or bursty enough to go into melee range unless you're just going in to execute someone and then flash out. So you're really kind of relegated to just sitting back and hyper blasting people. It's fun sometimes. Jhin, I'm going to say almost good. He is a very strong contender for can work sometimes. Go watch my Jhin videos, Jhin support videos. It's actually fun. And I think he's one of those champions that is just almost overtuned. And you get the fun of playing a marksman without the hassle of having to play ADC, which is always fun. You can go lethality build. You do get vision and utility through your traps, and you've got really good follow-up with your snare. And the champion is just one of the most fun champs in the game to pilot. So the fun factor is really important when deciding where they go on this list. Jhin is a fun champion to play. Jinx, I'm going to say she's bad, but like a high bad. She's pretty good at being bad. You know what I mean? You can go a WMAX lethality build and just shoot rockets and try to one-shot people. I want to experiment a little bit more with Jinx and find if I can find a better build. But yeah, you don't... There's kind of a trend when you play marksman as support. You typically don't want to do the actual ADC build. I talked about you want to go first strike lethality with Caitlyn. No one builds that when they play ADC Caitlyn. You want to build Imperial Mandate and CDR on Ashe. If you're actually playing Ashe as an ADC, that's not the build you do. So... very rarely do you slot a marksman into the support role and then just copy their ADC build. So it's a lot of what determines if marksmen are good in the support role is do they have a fun off-meta build, fun and like serviceable off-meta build. And I think the lethality Jinx is pretty good, pretty close to being good. Still bad though. Kai'Sa is probably going to go into bad tier just because you can We're going to do can work sometimes, actually. It takes a long time to scale, which is doubly bad for supports because they're going to be the lowest level in gold income. But man, if you can get to your W upgrade and get 2 items, get Ludens and what do you build? Seraphs, I think. You just shoot W's across the map and you're like 3-shotting people. It's actually super, super fun. Basically just turning the game into like a mini game. I'm gonna move her down to bad though. She can work sometimes, but it's very rare, and like you're kind of praying that you just get a couple free early kills. Kalista, don't even try it. Enough said. Karma's not off meta. Karthus, I would say you can work sometimes. Karthus is one of those champions that you really want to accelerate the game with. You want to just run at them like level 1, 2, and 3 and pray to God that you trade a kill, because Karthus is a champion who gets way more out of a single kill than any other champion in the game. Like seriously, I don't know why he is tuned that way, but if you can go in, flash into their team and get a 1-for-1, get a couple Dark Harvest maybe, you'll snowball on this champion. But if they just play super, super safe and run you out of mana and don't let you use your passive, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time. Kassadin is a 1v9 hyper carry, but only from the mid lane. I don't really see what he brings to the support role. Katarina, same thing. Don't even try it. Kayle is another champion that people really, she's just like Ivern. She has a lot of utility, and I think that she just kind of has like a vibe and an aesthetic that appeals to support players. Not getting sexist or saying stereotypes or anything. I just think the support players like the look and vibe of Kayle, and they really want her to be a support, but she is so tuned around like hitting her level 11 and level 16 power spike that the utility portion of her kit is really underdeveloped by Riot. I don't know. I wish that they would really tune her in a way that like if you max your W, you could be a good support, but it's really high mana, really long cooldown, and it's really not that great of a heal. So for that reason alone, we're going to put Kayle into the bad tier. Kayn, probably a don't try it. It's going to be really awkward to get your form. He's balanced around like ganking through the walls. Yeah, don't try it. Kidden, I'm going to say is good. Actually good. Kind of getting slept on, actually. You can just flash ult always. Doesn't matter if you're level 6 or level 9, so it's great for support. Pretty much one-shot squishies. Yeah, as long as you have backline access, I think that Kidden is really good. Kha'Zix, probably don't even try it. Kindred, probably don't even try it. Kled, ooh, man, there is like one high-elo player that swears by Kled, but I don't see it, to be honest. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my fault, and I need to experiment more with a couple different builds, but I'm going to say he's bad. Kog'Maw, I'm going to say he can work sometimes, actually. If you go a full AP build, Champion does a surprising amount of damage, and he's just like Karthus. It's fun dying and blowing someone up with you. LeBlanc, we're going to say can work sometimes, just because I think a lot of bot laners don't really even understand what champions like LeBlanc do. So if you can put it in a couple games of practice and find those angles to get assassinations on the enemy ADC when the support isn't looking, I think she can definitely work. Lee Sin can absolutely work sometimes. This champion is, once again, if you put the practice in and know how to really utilize him as a support, he's got great roams, great utility, infinitely high skill cap. I would really want to emphasize the utility, because if you go things like Shurelya's or even maybe Moonstone, or even if a Bruiser build, you can frontline for your team, you can play make for your team, you can peel with your kick, you can 1v1 a lot of isolated targets. Lee Sin can definitely work sometimes. I almost want to put him in good, but I think most people that play Lee Sin support don't know how to play Lee Sin, so that's what's holding him back. Leona is absolutely not off meta. Lilia is someone I really want to work because I just think she's such a fun champion, and she's very cracked right now, but I am going to have to put her into the bad tier. Other than the fact that she's overtuned as heck right now, like next patch, once they nerf her, she'll probably go back to being a bad support. The only playmaking that you really have is like shooting E's down lane and then sleeping people from out of nowhere and flash Q into the ulti. And if you don't have follow-up from your team, you're not going to be able to one-shot them by yourself. Right now, the tanky build is pretty freaking good on her. So going things like, what's the mythic she's going? I can't think of the mythic right now, but it's one of the new tank mythic items. It's really good on her. Into Demonic Embrace, pretty good deal. And the fact that they just recently changed her into being a melee support, which means she gets to abuse Conquer. But as we talked about earlier, Conquer is kind of an awkward rune to use in the bot lane because it's just hard to rack those stacks up. Lissandra. I'm going to say Lissandra's good, actually. So much lockdown, so much poke. You can go Aftershock, you can go Electrocute, you can go Comet. Lots of great versatile off meta builds that you can go. And the fact that she just has a point and click for her ultimate is always like CC is like the thing that supports are known for, right? She brings a ton of CC. So she is one of those champions that you should probably know what you're doing. But once you know what you're doing, Lissandra's support is legitimately good. Lucian, 0 CC, not even super good right now. I think I'm going to put him into the don't even try it. Other than the fact that he's super fun and arcadey, yeah, don't even try it. Lulu is not off meta. Lux, not off meta. Malphite, my boy. I swear to God, Malphite support is actually good. If you can get, if you're going to want to go full AP, of course. So Electrocute, Comet, builds like that, and just go Ludens or Night Harvester into Zhonya's. Genuinely good. The champion has a... Champion was actually so good for years. He had a 100% AP ratio on his R, which essentially one-shots any bot laner. If you hit level 6 first, you press R. Like, it's gotten to the point where, like, I will play Malphite support on my stream, and I will literally just let chat tell me who I should kill next. I turn it into, like, a choose-your-own-adventure story. I'll be like, do you want me to kill Ezreal or Lulu first? And they'll be like, Lulu. And I'll press R on Lulu, and she disappears. It is so fun. The problem is that pre-level 6, it's pretty useless. So, you know, walk into lane with the red trinket, control those bushes, don't get poked out, survive the game until level 6, and then you will auto-win the game, I swear. Malzahar, he's just as useless as Malzahar at levels, or as Malphite at pre-level 6, and is significantly worse than Malphite at level 6. So I am going to put him, we're going to put him in bad. Also, all of his abilities are designed around pushing the wave, which is a pretty bad thing to do as support. Maokai, I don't know if this guy's considered off meta or not. If he's considered off meta still, I would definitely put him in actually good. He is legitimately S tier as an off meta support. I'm going to put him in not off meta just because I think so many people are playing him these days that, yeah, he's not off meta. He's got so much easy lockdown and vision control and objective control. Super easy to pilot. So much value baked into his saplings. Really, really good. Again, he would be up here, but I think he's considered pretty on meta. Master Yi, he's the other one. He's the other one in this tier. Master Yi and Garen bring nothing to the team in the support position. Don't do it. I'm serious. Don't do it to yourself. Misfortune. Good. Very good. Very, very good. So many different builds. Really, really fun to play. She's just like, Misfortune is who I lock in when I just like, I've been having a rough day and I just need some dopamine. You abuse the interaction between your E and Arcane Comet. You can go AD, you can go AP, you can go freaking whatever you want on this champion. She's just actually really, really good in the support role. Mordekaiser. Other than having what is possibly one of the best and simultaneously worst CCs in the game, he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. Only good in the support role when he's super, super overtuned. Yeah, like I said, the only value he has is that nice hook that you can use through minions. So he's basically like a bad hook champion, kind of. And then you ult someone, but you're a support, so they can probably 1v1 you in the death realm. Kind of bad. I'm going to put it can work sometimes. Because if you do get an early kill and you do just have access to 1v1 anyone you want, champion is pretty cracked right now. And yeah, he's fun. Morgana is not off meta. She's not off meta. Gnosis, if you go full AP, he can work. If you go like an actual Gnosis build where you're stacking Q and scaling to the moon, don't do that. That's you want to be adaptable in when you're playing off meta supports. You want to play champions that have a secondary way to play them. You know what I mean? In the same way that you don't just lock in Ashe and then build, you know, Kraken Slayer, you take her in a completely different direction. Gnosis full AP can poke a lot of lanes out, but it's very mana intensive, so you need to make sure you're getting a lot of value out of your full AP E's. And, you know, you can go Relic Shield and get a couple stacks here and there, but you're not, he's tuned around like stacking all game long and then coming online at like 30 minutes, so that's not going to be you. Nautilus is not off meta. Neeko, is she off meta? I think she is off meta. I don't think enough people play Neeko. I think she's really, really good. If you consider her an off-meta support, very good. She is a riskier version of Lux, but super fun. Has a very, very well balanced designed gameplay that's fun to like land your E and then flash alt into them. You can get really creative with the disguises. Yeah, she's really good. She is, I will say, she's a worse version of Lux, which makes me think that she probably is off meta, because I don't think many people play Neeko over Lux. But yeah, Nidalee. This champion can work sometimes. It's hard to pull off. She's a very mechanically intensive champion, and she's a champion that's very dependent on, can you land the spears? If you can land the spears, the champion can work as a support. If you can't land the spears, you're gonna have a bad time. So she can work sometimes. Nocturne. Probably bad. Probably bad for the same reason that a lot of assassins are bad. If he doesn't have the gold to one-shot someone, he's probably not going to be super useful. Nunu. This really hurts my heart because Nunu's a champion just like Ivern that so many people want to be a support. He's got a lot of utility, a lot of CC. He's cute as a button, but it just doesn't work. I don't know. It's just awkward. It feels wrong to be playing Nunu outside of the jungle. It's just bad. Olaf, don't even try it. Orianna, good. Almost in the actually good arena. So much utility, so much poke. One of the best designed champions in the game. Feels great to pilot, which is a very important part of League of Legends, in my opinion. The champion feels great. It's got a very unique control mechanic with her ball. So much shields, lots of different builds. You can go a one-shot build, you can go a utility build. Shurelia's is surprisingly good on her because she can proc it on her E and her W. Yeah, she's good. She's actually good. Ornn, he can work sometimes for sure. The only bad part about playing Ornn support is that the value of his passive where he upgrades other people's items. One, that's not really fun to do, in my opinion. Just giving someone else an item. Like, is that a fun moment for people? And two, it's locked behind him hitting level 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, which you're going to be the last person to do as support. So it can work sometimes. He's got a lot of CC, and I think the champion is tuned pretty well right now. Very tanky in this tank meta. It can work sometimes. Pantheon, is this off meta? I don't know. If he is, he's actually good. I'm going to have a lot of people arguing with me in the comments about, oh, this is an off meta or this isn't. If he's an off meta, he is actually just god tier. So much 1v1 potential, so much burst potential. Rush Bork, you can go Umbral, you can go Lethality. Champion is cracked as hell, and super fun. I particularly tend to gravitate towards champions that are just like immediately fun and easy to pick up and play. Like, I think those are the best designed champions. Champions like MF and Leona, Pantheon, very, very simple kits that you can master. So yeah. Poppy, she's really only good. I don't know if she's considered an off-meta champion or not, but she's really only good as counter picks. So you want to like let the enemy team lock in a lot of mobility, and then if you also need a tank, I guess she can work sometimes. Yeah. Pyke is not off-meta. Qiyana, don't even try it. Quinn can work. I think Quinn is exactly what people want from Aurelion Soul support, where it's just the fantasy of flying around the map and just like roaming around, one-shotting top lane, then going back to bot lane. It could definitely work if you get a lead, and you know how to play Quinn, and they don't have a lot of tanks. So it can work. There's a couple of things that need to happen for it to work, but it can work, and it's fun when it does. Rakan is not off-meta. Rammus is mildly off-meta. We're going to put him in not off-meta. Rek'Sai, don't even try it. Rell, not off meta. Renata, not off meta. Renekton, he's got a targeted stun. That's it. He's got a targeted stun. So if that appeals to you, sure, play Renekton support. Rengar is very bad. He's kind of got the same problem that a lot of assassins have. The only difference is that he can get out of a lot of sticky scenarios and set up a lot of plays just by pressing R. And he's got an empowered Bola that's pretty easy to land. So he's got hard CC, more than I can say about Katarina. Riven, I would say he's bad. I would put him in don't even try it, but I actually played Riven recently. Oh my God, thank God it saved my tier list. Oh my God, the whole video almost got destroyed there. Bro, I don't know what I clicked, but I like... Anyways, that was bad juju. We're leaving her in bad. Riven, I'm sorry that I considered even putting you in don't try it. But yeah, I played her recently, and it actually did work relatively well. I think it's just because she's overtuned. But she's got a lot of decent CC. She's got a knock-up, stun. Yeah, Riven support. Rumble! Very off-meta. Very, very good. Super overtuned. Lock-in, Comet. Poke 'em. Just melt them. It's fun. It's super, super fun. Check out my Rumble support videos if you want to see how to play it. Ryze, don't even try it or bad. He does have an unmissable root, but it's got setup. Yeah, I'm gonna put him into don't even try it. Samira, don't even try it. Sejuani, definitely just good in terms of like how much CC she brings. Like, you're not gonna one-shot people, you're not gonna be the tankiest in the game, but like, you can set up a lot through roams with how much CC this champion has. So I'm gonna put her in good just for that reason alone. Senna is absolutely not off meta. Seraphine is not off meta. Set is not off meta. Shaco is off meta and is very, very good. I don't care what people say. I don't care how many. Shaco's off meta and he's very good. He's one of those champions that you need to put in practice, and he's all about disrupting the game, just like making other people miserable. And the other bad part about him is that he's very dependent on the enemy team just getting fed up and misplaying into you. If they just play safe and don't fall for any of your tricks or traps, you're going to be pretty worthless. But full AP Shaco definitely can 1v9 a game, and he definitely is good. Shin, I don't think he's off meta. Shyvana is in don't even try it. Silco is very handsome, but is not even a support in the game. Singed, I'm going to say is bad. He does have a targeted fling, and it's fun to just run around and disrupt the game as Singed. I'm going to say he can work sometimes, actually. Sion, is he off meta? I don't know. If he is off meta, he's very, very good. Sivir, don't even try it. Skarner, it can work sometimes. You really, he's not as easy to play as he looks, and he's really a weird champion that requires a lot of like stacking and weaving in and out of fights and farming. And yeah, if you can find like good flash angles, I guess you can make a decent play every 5 minutes. Sona is not off meta. Soraka is not off meta. Swain is not off meta. Sylas is freaking broken. This champion is almost up here just because of how overtuned he is. But yeah, you want to lock in Aftershock over Conquer. Sylas mid goes Conquer or Electrocute. Sylas support always goes Aftershock. You need to get that gold value from the defensive stats that Aftershock gives you. And yeah, like go in on everything. Just limit test with this champion because this champion basically has no limits. The only thing that is kind of a downside is like if you lock him early in the draft and then the enemy team doesn't lock very good ults for you to use, you may be slightly less valuable to your team. But yeah, Sylas, that champion is no joke, man. Like this champion is cracked. Syndra, I'm going to put her into actually good. She has always been one of my favorite champions. Her recent rework made her absolutely overtuned and broken. She's got great stun. She's got kill potential at level 2. Obviously kill potential at level 6. Really, really good. Like, definitely give Syndra. If you're looking for like a fun mage to play as a support, it's definitely Syndra. Now, the thing I see that people wanting to pick up Syndra support do wrong is they don't play aggro level 1. You want to play aggro level 1, hit him with your Qs. As long as you can land those, throw in a couple of autos, you'll outtrade anyone in the game. Really, really good as a support. Tahm Kench is not off meta. Taliyah, I'm going to say Taliyah can almost good. Do we put her in good? I think she has a lot going for her in terms of poke and one-shot ability. She is dependent on what your ADC is playing. Like, for instance, if you're going to lock a full cheese bot lane, like one of the more infamous ones is Pantheon ADC, Taliyah support, then she's really, really good. Or vice versa. But she does have the anti-mobility thing going that Poppy has. So it's like kind of disrupting the enemy team. Her combos are a little awkward and take some time to get used to, but when you start landing them, even if you're only landing half of them, you'll be one-shotting people. So I'm going to say she's good. Talon, don't even try it. Taric, not off meta. Teemo, the GOAT, the absolute GOAT. If you've watched my other videos, if you've watched my channel at all, you know Teemo is the GOAT of off meta, man. This champion is so broken, and the best thing about him is that he always counters at least one person in the lane because the enemy team's always going to have a marksman like 99% of the time, and you can just blind him. And it's, you know, your mileage will vary depending on which marksman you're against, but like for instance, if you're against Jhin, you blind him, he misses his 4-shot. That's half his damage, right? And so you're always going to hard counter at least one person. You get one item and you feel like you're full build. You get free vision through your shrooms. You scale like a mother effer. The champion is just, you have to try Teemo support. Like, please do it for me. Go out there and try Teemo support. Thresh, not off meta. Tristana, probably don't try it. Trundle, is he off meta? If he is, he's good. Tryndamere is pretty bad. Twisted Fate. It's kind of fun. Kind of a fun idea that you can roam around the map. You do have a targeted unmissable yellow card. I'm going to say it can work sometimes. I think the champions in general, pretty bad. So know that going into it. Twitch as an off-meta support. Very, very good. For obvious reasons. You're not going to go AD. You're not going to go Kraken Slayer. Just go AP, gank mid level 1, cheese them, tilt them, go invisible. You were hiding, baby. Udyr. We're going to put him in bad. Just because Udyr post rework is pretty fun. Urgot, actually good. Tyler 1 showed me this. Tyler 1 was playing Urgot support, and he would literally just E-flash on people level 2 and get a kill every single game in Challenger. Urgot support slept on, man, I promise you. Go check it out. Varus, my boy. I almost want to put him into actually good because AP Varus is super, super fun. Very unique play style. I love playing as archers in like all games. It's just the fun play style for me. And he's a literal archer. He snipes people. He ults people. It does way more damage than they expect. I'm going to put him into good. Vayne. Don't even try it. Veigar. I don't know. I think I actually just don't like playing as Veigar, so I might be a little biased here, but I'm going to put him into bad, actually. The only thing he has going for him is his box. And yeah. Vel'Koz is not off meta. Vex is very, very good. I don't know if we still consider her off meta, but very, very good. She has no problem one-shotting people, even from the support role. She is super, super fun to play. She's got a great design. She's one of those champions I was talking about earlier where it's like, it's simple and basic, but you could do so much with it. Vex is very fun for the support role. Viego, don't even try it. Victor, bad. Vi can definitely work sometimes. You want a player who has like an aggressive AD Leona, basically just go in on everything, set up kills for your team, try to one-shot people, go for like a bruisery or a lethality build. It can definitely work sometimes. Vladimir. Oh, he is off meta. Pretty bad though. No CC. Hyperscaling 1v9 champion that doesn't really get the hyperscale from the support position. Yeah, he's pretty bad. Volibear. Good. Very good, actually. It's got a point and click flash Q stun. Pretty overtuned. You can disable turrets for tower dives. All really good things to do from support. Warwick is pretty awkward to play as support because you don't get to use his W or his passive really often. He does have lockdown at his level 6 and at level 3 with his E, but he's kind of more balanced around like 1v1ing people, like hunting down people in his jungle rather than like hunting down an ADC that's standing right next to his Lulu. Wukong, actually good. Very, very good, actually. Super fun. Definitely has carry potential. You want to go to an electrocute build because he's got the fastest electrocute in the entire game. You can E auto Q, that procs electrocute, chunks half their health bar, and then press W immediately. And the enemy team, you can always go in and do that combo, which chunks half their health, like I said, and then you press W, and like they're like shocked. They're like either running away because they think you're all inning them, or they don't even hit you back, or they hit the clone. So he's really, really fun to play in this like kind of hit and run style until you get an item, and then it's just hit and they're dead style. It's fun. Zaya, don't even try it. Xerath, not off meta. Xin Zhao, kind of the same thing as Vi. You're just gonna play him as an AD Leona. Go in on everything and pray that you one-shot them. Yasuo, don't even try it. Yone, don't even try it. Yorick, oh my god, there's someone at my stream that asked me to play Yorick like every single day, and I have to admit, it's actually better than I thought. It can work sometimes. You want to go for an Emax poke style with Comet, yeah, and go full lethality, and just pray to god that you win laning phase. Yuumi is not off meta. Zac is extremely fun and good as an off meta, if we're considering him off meta. Zed, don't even try it. Zeri, don't even try it. Ziggs is very, very good just because he's got tons of poke and you can get first turret with his W. Zilean, not off meta. Zoe is pretty bad. She's one of those champions that a lot of people want to work as a support, and it just kind of doesn't. Like, she's balanced around like disappearing out of vision in the mid lane and either shooting an E down into the bot lane and hitting them with the one-shot roam and stuff like that. Like, it's really awkward just with the way that the walls are in bot lane to even use your Sleepy Bubble Trouble correctly. So you have to like literally walk up to them and throw it in their face and then take 3 autos while they're still falling asleep. It's pretty awkward. Zyra's not off meta. So there it is, guys. That completes. We just ranked every single champion in the game, to my knowledge, on how good they actually are as off meta supports. Now, I want to say as we're closing this video out that just because my opinion of them as off meta is either good or bad should not really influence whether or not you should play them. Like if you're a hardcore one trick, Aurelia support player, and it's your dream to like get the diamond playing Aurelia support, do it. Go do it. People like prove me wrong, if anything. You know what I mean? Like support is the most flexible role in the entire game. There are people who have come up with the most insane, mind-blowing gameplay styles out there and made it to literal challenger playing it, right? So this is just a general gist. I wanted to give you guys general thoughts on how good these champions actually are, and it like kind of give you a little bit of a guide on how to approach playing them as support, because I love playing support and I think you guys like watching me and playing off meta supports with me. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys' thoughts on this tier list are down in the comments. Take it easy, boys. Peace.